A royal expert has reported that Harry is to blame. He's the one who just went along with whatever Meghan wanted because he assumed that if he didn't, then she would threaten to leave him. Harry has really punished himself more than anybody else in all of this mess. I mean, if he had just had the balls to stand up to her, then maybe she would have shown a little more respect for her husband and the royal family as a whole. So because Harry sunk to her level and he's too afraid to have a mind of his own, he's gotten nowhere. Meghan gets him to do all her dirty work, especially when he kept having to call his father at her request, begging for more money and free security too. I think the sudden fame went to Meghan's head, so she just had to throw her weight around to justify who she believes herself to be. Now that attitude has not helped her at all in life, but she still doesn't understand why. Honestly, I still find it hard to believe that Meghan Markle, this nobody con woman, is able to hold the royal family ransom. I mean, she has such a sordid past. The truth is, Meghan Markle never gave birth to any child, come on, and anybody with common sense knows that. I think Meghan and Harry are just as dishonest as they are entitled and narcissistic and delusional. They live in a fantasy world. Why are they not filing lawsuits against all the sources that are saying that she never gave birth, I wonder? And where is the midwife or doctor or whomever who assisted in the births? King Charles needs to deal with that problem right now. I'm afraid the monarchy will not survive if he doesn't handle it. He needs to expose them for what they are, a couple of lying grifters. It's important to remember that during the last couple of years of her life, the late Queen lost her rock, her support system, the love of her life, Prince Philip. He was also suffering from some type of bone cancer, and I'm sure he was suffering immensely. When her mobility really suffered thanks to the bone cancer, I cannot imagine how awful she felt. But still, she tried her best to put on a brave face right until the very end. I don't think anybody could say that the Queen had enough strength to deal with everything the two of them were throwing at her. Of course she couldn't. I will always suspect that Harry and Meghan pulled the race card, and that's why the marriage was allowed to happen. Basically, they said, if you don't let us get married, then I'm going to tell the whole world that you're racist. Harry told his grandmother, if you do not let me marry this woman, I'm going to tell everybody that you are racist. You. Do you remember that little bit about the kids on the TV interview when Meghan told the interviewer that questions came up about the color of their unborn baby's skin? I think it was blackmail, and I think it was all about racism. So the poor queen, I'm sure, didn't know what to do. I mean, they really painted her into a corner. And I suspect racism is to blame because that is the card the two of them have been playing ever since they got married. And they got even worse when they moved to the US, where they have really kept on pulling out that racism card. Just look at all the awards they have gotten through supposedly fighting institutional racism in the monarchy. So basically they're trying to claim that because the monarchy is all white, it must be racist. So as far as I can tell, it was all blackmail about racism. Essentially, Meghan wanted to be the queen, and she believed that she was going to be able to change a 1,000-plus-year-old monarchy system, making it more woke, making it more glamorous, making it like something from Hollywood. Clearly, that creature was never going to be queen because of William and his family, so she decided to pitch a little fit and run away to the US, declaring the whole UK to be racist. Now, I do believe that Harry genuinely loved Africa, but obviously Meghan Markle didn't want to associate with her people of color, even though she told them that she was their sister. See, Meghan pulls out that race card when she wants some attention, and tragically, the most poisonous card in the entire world at this moment is racism. Now, clearly, I think they need to demand a DNA test first. Honestly, when we consider the uncertainty surrounding both births, this is not an unreasonable demand. Is there any doctor or medical professional out there who witnessed either birth? I would have assumed that it would be normal for the birth of a child in line for the throne to be witnessed and recorded. And a doctor could also tell for sure if a woman ever gave birth in her lifetime, or if she had a full or partial hysterectomy, as Meghan's family claims. If they used a surrogate, then I'm sure there had to have been several people who knew about it. At best, it is treachery against the monarchy to get two children who were not born from Meghan's body into the line of succession. Now, if the king comes out and says that yes, they used a surrogate, then I would assume the people responsible for hiding that information are going to be dealt with in court. I'm talking about the doctors and the nurses, the surrogate, etc. This could be enough for somebody out there to break the silence and try to go for a plea bargain. Strong measures could be at this stage necessary to get rid of or resolve the Meghan and Harry problem once and for all. Meghan is just so delusional. I mean, I think that she really did want to be queen and she wanted to change a historic monarchy system. And then, when she was unable to make that happen, she ran away for the US. But did she never consider how in the world she was going to get to be queen when William and his 3 kids are still living and still in the picture? I mean, she wanted a lot of attention and fame for herself, but I do not understand how she could have believed that she could possibly be queen. And there's another problem that nobody really discusses. I'm talking about Andrew, for whom it is now being rumored Charles changed Elizabeth's decision that he no longer wore his robes for the coronation. Another constant in the saga of Meghan and Harry is, of course, Marcus Anderson. He's the unqualified man who went from nothing to a boss at Soho House all of a sudden. Now, the rumor has it that he is the Canadian son of Andrew, and that would make the York sisters his half-sisters and Harry would be his cousin. It's not Meghan's business to say anything, though. I mean, she would bring a whole storm down on herself if she did that. There's no way that Charles doesn't know about all of this. Now, the internet, I think, was carefully scrubbed about the truth when it comes to Marcus Anderson. At one point, it offered a brief description of his life and birth in Peterborough, Canada, and his mother's name too. She went to the same college as Andrew, and Anderson is staying very quiet about everything. Why in the world, though, was he living with Harry and Meghan? What a weird thing. I mean, this important boss man living with his employee Meghan? I don't see how that could be nice for a man who is so obviously status-driven not to be acknowledged. So Andrew is another problem yet again. I think it's a lot easier if they would just get it all out in the open, be transparent. But anyway, back to Meghan. She's got that nasty look on her face that she gets when she hears something that she doesn't want to hear. She is just so disgusting. I do not understand why the family ever allowed things to get this far, and why they continue to allow this piece of gutter trash to dictate what they can and cannot do. At this point, popular opinion of Meghan could not be much worse. Meghan has no credibility, no support base except for her mother. They've already been accused of racism, so they're not worried about that anymore. So what exactly is the problem with dealing with her? King Charles showing himself to be strong is not going to hurt the monarchy, it will only help him and the monarchy. So what's the problem? My feeling is, at this point, because of everything that Meghan has done without having to face any repercussions, if King Charles doesn't do something, people may just swing their eyes back to Meghan for a reason, and I don't think this is going to be a good situation for the king. Now, nobody said he needs to go all Jerry Springer on her, although I would love to see that. I mean, but anyway, asking Parliament to strip the titles would be a great start. I'm curious as to why this has not already been done. What exactly are they protecting that could be so harmful? I mean, does Meghan have proof that the royal family murdered Diana? I don't think so. I know some people claim that that's what's happened, but I don't believe it. But could that be why Harry jumped ship? Andrew was literally accused of raping children, and the family survived that. So again, what is the problem with admitting that Meghan's a big bully and that she lied about a surrogate? Personally, I believe the king is going to wait a couple of months so that people won't accuse him of retaliating against their antics. I suspect that details about the invisible children are going to be leaked to the media, but not until the retraction of titles bill is passed. The bill is slowly making its way through parliamentary channels, and I believe that once it has been fully passed, together with the truth about the children becoming public, this will have public opinion firmly on the king's side to take away all titles from the entire family. I believe this is a game of stealth at the moment, which is frustrating, but at the end of the day, it's probably necessary.